Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
This episode of Tep Stepp is presented by CoverZero Analytics, the leaders in next-level football data. CoverZero delivers predictive matchup previews, classification-based grading, and customized analysis to football coaches who want more than the same old breakdown of tendencies. With CoverZero, football coaches now have a tool that can measure all aspects of their team's performance. CoverZero is built entirely around smarter data analysis, helping thousands of coaches find winning edges that don't always appear in film study. If you're a football coach looking for an extra advantage, CoverZero invites you to join the hundreds of premier programs that have taken their scouting intel to the next level. Ready to see how the best teams win? Start with CoverZero Analytics. Find out more at CoverZeroAnalytics.com. That's CoverZeroAnalytics.com.
I could be at home with my wife and children, but instead, VNA has said, get in that studio and get me some content.
Yeah. She shoved us in here and said, you're getting me damn content.
It's really hot in here. Like,
these working conditions are
it is.
I can't deal with this.
This woman is out of control.
Yeah.
Tep Stepp, your premium Texas high school football podcast from your friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I am the Tep, Greg Tepper.
And I'm the Stepp, Matt Stepp.
Thank you for being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. We love you very much. There are more of you than there ever have been, and we're grateful for you. Somehow, I think that there are people who subscribe for Tep Stepp, and thank you.
We do. Thank you. Yeah.
But also, I have a feeling that the increase in subscription numbers might have to do with the magazine that we're working on.
Oh, we are. I don't want to throw out the term hero, but
But we are the greatest heroes that this nation has ever known. That's not true.
No,
but we are podcasting though.
We're your Texas high school football Sanchos.
This is your May off-season edition of Tep Stepp. Those giggles you hear belong to our producer, VNA Moreno. Hello, VNA Moreno.
Hello. It's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
It is. It's warm. But it's okay.
I think Pickle's in charge of the thermostat.
Do you know why it's hot in here? I think it's because we got these spicy takes about high school football.
Hot takes going, yeah.
That's what we got going.
We got the high school football hibachi.
This
sponsored
is
by CoverZero.
If you lift this part of the desk up, there's a hibachi grill underneath.
And an onion volcano
right here. This is your May off-season edition. This is the final episode of the real off-season, honestly.
The long, cold winter that's shorter than usual because it was a realignment year. Thank you, UIL.
This is the end of the beginning is kind of what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because now, next month rather, in June, 7-on-7 preview.
Yeah, our show is pretty much produced for the next till Christmas.
8 months. Yeah, exactly right. The next time we'll have to struggle to put together content is January. So whatever.
We're good.
So we're going to let it rip today. This is your May off-season edition. We do thank you for being Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in a little bit, we are going to take a look at I would say a uncharacteristically active final act of the coaching carousel.
Yeah, May has been unusually busy. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
We'll hand out some coaching carousel awards that we just made
fake
up.
awards. Yeah,
fake awards. We do love a fake award here.
Yeah, we do.
And then we're gonna play a little buy and sell with Matt Stepp. We're gonna take a look at some teams that had let's say, uncharacteristic 2025 seasons, and I want to ask them if that's the new normal or if it's just a one-year blip. We'll get into that in the back half.
Make some people mad already.
The program
in May.
Exactly right. But first, Matthew, we will start as we always do with your Texas high school football fun fact of the week, presented by CoverZero Analytics.
These guys.
Let me tell you something about CoverZero Analytics. They are good people, and they will also help you out if you're in a pinch. If you get a flat tire, call Jacob. I want to be clear, that's not their business, but they're just nice guys.
He is a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's bought me dinner before.
Well, that's a flex. He hasn't bought me a single morsel.
Major flex.
But CoverZero Analytics, after they're done changing your tire because they're nice guys, they'll tell you all about the advanced analytics of Texas high school football. They will go through and tell you, hey, by the way, if you're feeling a little jaunty and you want to know exactly what the run rate of the best teams in Texas high school football is, they can tell you stuff like that.
They can.
They've got numbies that you would never believe.
I saw Jacob McNeil at 7-on-7 wheeling and dealing, showing coaches, preaching the gospel of CoverZero.
That's what they do. They preach the gospel of CoverZero. It's CoverZeroAnalytics.com.
We're disciples. We are followers of Jacob McNeil and CoverZero.
We are disciples, and I will also tell you that I will follow him into the darkness.
Into the depths.
Into the depths. Yeah. Whatever he needs, I'm there for him. Like he is a man that I believe you can trust, and he is a man
trustworthy guy.
And he is a man that I believe is worthy of your business. Go to CoverZeroAnalytics.com. Take your Texas high school football team to the next level. There's a chance you don't know what this company does after we did this read.
Yeah.
So go to CoverZeroAnalytics.com and find out for yourself. It's CoverZeroAnalytics.com.
We're sorry.
We are sorry. We are, of course...
Y'all are starting off strong.
As you know, we are, of course, always very, very sorry to CoverZero. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. I am looking this up right now. There are...
You're really prepared for the show.
I am so prepared. So
magazine.
Much so.
It's magazine
so
season.
Magazine season. Matt Stepp, your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. Which UIL Texas high school football team, and there are a grand total of...
A lot.
No. Well, there's a lot of those. There's a grand total of... How many is that? Hold on. I'm doing great.
1140?
1140. That's exactly it. 10. There are 10 UIL Texas high school football teams that have increased their win total each of the last 4 seasons. So they did better in 22 than they did in 21. They did better in 23 than they did in 22. Better in 24 than they did in 23. And better in 25 than they did in 24. I'll give you 3 strikes. Who are the 10 teams that have increased their win total?
This is tough.
Each of the last 4 seasons, which is hard because on one hand, it means you were probably pretty bad in 2021. Like there had to be room for improvement.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. North Shore was never going to be able to make this list.
No.
They were all good. But which Texas high school football teams have increased their win total each of the last 4 seasons? Give you 3 strikes.
Yeah, this is tough. This is a really tough question.
This is what happens whenever I have to scramble and find a...
Yeah, you're killing me. Is Canyon West Plains one of them?
They are not one of them, but I think that might actually be only because they didn't qualify for the study. Well, no, I guess they would have, but they did not.
Okay.
No, I
thought maybe they had like 11 wins in 24 and 12 last year.
In Canyon West Plains, let's see. No, they actually went down in win totals from 2023 to 2024 because I think they lost to like a non-district game. Okay, so there's 1 strike.
Dang it. Is Stephenville on that list? Because
Stephenville is not on that list because I think Stephenville...
It's got to be somebody who was really good last year. Cause
Stephenville almost qualified. Stephenville is 3 of the 4.
Okay.
But they did not. But back in 2023, or 2022, they took a big dip from their title year in 2021.
Oh, yeah. That's where they won. Yeah, they won a title in 21.
Strike 2.
Dang it. This is tough, and I'm not doing very good.
This is going great for me.
Yeah, you've stumped me. How about Athens? I'm very 4A centric.
It's strike 3 for you. No, Athens. Although they also were in the 3 out of 4, but that,
Okay, wasn't
yeah.
total
Okay.
movement.
So here are the 10 teams. Ready?
All right, let's go.
Cumbie,
The mighty Trojans of Cumbie.
Aldine Davis. That has been a program that has been consistently like
Kelvin Chatham is a ball
telling
coaching
you.
dude.
telling you. Robinson.
The mighty Rockets. You know they have a rocket at their field.
I did know that they're one of 2 programs with a rocket. I think Wellington has a skyrocket as well. Richardson, another ball coaching dude.
Kendrick Holloway, Kibo, my guy.
Bremond.
Okay.
If you think about it, yeah, that kind of lines up for them.
Yeah.
Cy Lakes, which has gone from like the cellar of Cy-Fair ISD to like
First playoff appearance in school history last year and first playoff win. Tyrone Carter did in my opinion, probably should have got some Coach of the Year consideration. He did a hell of a job.
they are, yeah, that is going. You want to talk about? We talk about like judging Texas high school football teams. You would say like on a curve, but like for Cy Lakes to go from where they were to 6-6 last year is like unbelievable.
Yeah, hell of a job by Tyrone Carter.
Clifton,
The Cubs.
the Cubs have done it.
Okay.
Hewitt Midway did it, which I think probably speaks to just like an uncharacteristic 2021 would be my guess.
Yeah.
And then 2 more, Lavernia, consistently just
Brian Null's done a great job there.
and Stinnett, West Texas. That has been
a team we saw in person last year.
We did. This whole team, even VNA.
VNA saw us tonight.
VNA was
I did.
VNA was criticizing the play calling. Anyway, there it is. She was really mad.
Giving it to the coach.
Yeah, she was like, just run the ball, Kate Winters.
On
There
the
it is.
sidelines.
Your Texas high school football fun fact. What's funny is she was on the West Texas sideline.
She was.
Just like yelling.
just-
Like, come on!
Yeah, it was.
Anyway,
It was shocking.
your Texas high school football fun fact of the week. All right, Matthew. Let's talk about coaching changes because even though it's May, it is a stunningly active portion of the calendar.
Usually in May, I'm like, all right, it's time for 7-on-7. The coaching changes, at least the notable coaching changes have wrapped up. Not so much this year.
There's usually like 1 or 2. It's like, oh, like the coaching, like the hiring kind of dragged out a little bit.
There was one a couple of years ago that happened like right when we were pulling up to state 7-on-7. We're like, oh, this
do remember that. But I want to go through a few of them that have been pretty active since we last recorded. I think we talked about West Plains the last time.
We did.
When on this podcast. But what we didn't do was talk about, because it just came down, their new coach. They have promoted from within, which again, can't stress enough how right I was that they were going to promote from within. Although that feels like a short putt.
Are you coming from a hot board crown
listen,
here or what?
I'm just saying. To me, they promoted Jeff Lofton, their assistant head coach.
Yeah, no brainer. I mean, he was like 75-30 or something at Idalou. Like to have a guy on staff ready to step in is impressive, and the success they've had, not a surprise.
No, that's the thing. To me, that had all the hallmarks of a promote from within. Hire.
Yeah.
And especially, I made the point that it's not like Adam Cummings surprisingly left to go to Clifton, right?
Sure.
He instead, like, it was a promotion from within, which to me signals that there was a plan all along.
Oh,
Like, okay, there's a backfill
Yeah.
plan. It would have been right. But so Canyon West Plains, spoiler alert, they will be ranked. But they are a team that we will be keeping an eye on with Jeff Lofton at the helm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Weatherford. Okay. Weatherford made a hire.
They did not hire internally.
They did not hire internally. They went and plucked a pretty spicy name out of the coordinator ranks.
Yeah, Marshall Williams, the offensive coordinator at Lovejoy, does have head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Keller Timber Creek for about 3 or 4 years there. Did a good job at Timber Creek, led him to a few playoff appearances. He's been at Lovejoy with Todd Dodge. Tarrant County guy, so not far from home. And I think, what's interesting about Weatherford is they have a really good sophomore class. They'll be juniors next year, really good group. They're excited about that group, and I think they feel like maybe in another year they could be a team that, contends for a playoff spot, which Weatherford in 6A, when they're competing for a playoff spot, it's a good year for them. So I think Marshall Williams is an innovative offensive mind. He's going to be excited. They're going to throw the ball around. I was texting with him today. He was looking to get into a 7-on-7 tournament, and so it's like, okay, they want to sling it around. So excited about that hire for Weatherford. It's one of, I think he said it was 16. There's only like 16 or 17 one-school towns in Class 6A, like one school ISDs.
I guess that's right, yeah.
And he says Weatherford is one of those jobs, and now they're surrounded by elite programs. You got Alito to the east, You got Brock to the west, and now Peaster north of town is an elite program in 3A. So they're kind of surrounded on all sides by elite programs. So we'll see if Weatherford can make that leap.
You could even say, like, if you go southeast, you can get to North Crowley, like you get to that kind of south of Fort Worth area.
You can go further west, Gordon. I mean, 6-man ranks. Like there's
good
big time programs all around there. Yeah.
Killeen ISD made a pair of moves. Killeen High has hired Roderick Sneed to be their next head coach, and then on the same day, I think in the same school board meeting, same press release, it was also they promoted Roy Locks to be the new head coach at Shoemaker.
Yeah, so Killeen High goes outside. Sneed is a well thought of defensive. Been in Mesquite ISD the past few years. Was at West Mesquite, transferred over to North Mesquite. Guy played at Colorado, played for the Buffs. In college, so well thought of defensive mind. I think he's going to bring some energy, some excitement there to the Kangaroos. And then Shoemaker's had some success under Toby Foreman, so it's not a huge surprise they would stay in house there and promote Roy Locks because they've been a consistent winner there in Killeen ISD.
Let's talk about kind of our first not our first shocker of the offseason, but I would say a late shocker, which is what happened at Decatur. And this is kind of a two-part move. I think both the initial and the response have both been relatively surprising.
Sure.
The first one is that it came open at all, which is that Steve Huff, a state champion head coach who had done a really good job at Decatur as well, decides to essentially retire within the state of Texas and move up to Oklahoma and coach at Chickasha.
You're not, you're Oklahoma. You worked in Tulsa, didn't you?
I did.
Your Oklahoma bona fides are struggling.
Okay.
Right? Chickasha, the Fighting Chicks. The Chickasha Fighting Chicks. Great mascot.
Is that true?
They're the mascots, the Fighting Chicks.
Okay.
So,
cool, Oklahoma.
I think part of it was, pulling back the curtain a little bit, Huff had been, he sniffed around on some other jobs in the far northern reaches of the state, if you're catching my drift here. I think part of it is, he's got a son that's playing at the University of Central Oklahoma. His daughter's graduating from Decatur this year. She's going to school in Kansas. So I think he wanted to personally get further north. And he's got his wife's family's from Oklahoma. His family's from Missouri. His ties are north of the state, right? So I think he was looking at that, and I think he looked at, okay, I've got enough years to retire, so let's possibly look at, pulling a double dip, and that's what happened. And I think for him personally, it's a good move. I know the coaches in the district are glad to see him go because he's a really, really good. I mean, he led College Station to a state. He built that college. He's the architect of that College Station program, and then he goes to Decatur and takes them to 2 state semifinals in the first 2 years there. So he's a heck of a football coach. He'll do great things at Chickasha. Hate to see him leave the state of Texas, but happy for him personally, and it's a good move for him and his family. Yeah,
once you kind of lay it all out there, it does make sense. And I think that's one of the things we try to color in the lines here is that, like, I think there's some moves where people might be like, well, why would he take that move? But you just like these are just like guys with families and
they
families
have real life problems,
exactly.
and it's better for him and his family. And then the fact is, like I said, he gets to double dip. He's going to draw his Texas retirement and draw a full salary in Oklahoma, like.
Pretty good. Not bad. They
good
have
business if you can get it.
Yeah, but they made after a brief but I would say intense search.
Oh, it was intense.
They went and hired Cliff Watkins at Glen Rose, and I mentioned this on TFT. If you were to make a list of the most low-key, consistently excellent programs over the last half-decade or so in Texas high school football, like Glen Rose is on that list.
Well, the interesting thing about Glen Rose, too, is before Watkins got there, they were kind of just a average program.
They were fine.
They weren't bad, but they were average, and he turns them into a power. I did not realize that in 10 seasons at Glen Rose, he went 46-0 in district play.
It's crazy.
Never lost a district game in 10 years at Glen Rose. Took him to 2 state semifinals, and they took Carthage to the brink that one year.
I will always remember the Cliff Watkins era at Glen Rose will always live in my brain as that time that they took Carthage to the wire.
Yes, they took Carthage to the mat in that game. He did an unbelievable job at Glen Rose, built them into a consistent winner, and he goes to Decatur. And a lot of people were like, well, why? You know, I think people look at Decatur and Glen Rose as similar jobs. And I would agree. I think they're very – and Glen Rose, from a facility standpoint, might be a little bit better of a job than Decatur. Here's, I think, what really tipped the scales in Decatur's favor with Watkins. He's got 2 daughters, and they're both really good athletes, and they're tall, like Watkins is a big dude.
Yeah.
Watkins is about 6'4". His daughters are 6 foot plus. They're good basketball and volleyball. Go check out Decatur's girls basketball team. Back-to-back state champs. Their volleyball team's a state power. I think putting his for his daughters, I think that was the selling point for him, is getting his daughters in that elite girls athletic program there at Decatur. So again, we're talking about dudes with families, and he, he's doing what I think he thinks is best for his daughters and their situation. So great hire for Decatur. I think I talked to Coach Watt. I'm gonna see him Friday at 7-on-7. Might interview him then. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, great move for Decatur. And then Glen Rose, they don't waste any time. Like 2 days later, they promoted DC Jeff Pear to be the head coach. And again, a program with a lot of success.
Right.
It's late. Let's not overthink
Don't
this.
overthink it.
And they promoted, they never even posted the job.
Yeah.
They just promoted Jeff Pear right into it. So Glen Rose found their head coach within, kind of knew that he was the internal guy, and I was going to be very surprised if that job got posted, and he steps into a great situation there at Glen Rose.
Let's talk about Sherman. So Sherman and Denison both came up in on the last episode. We talked about Denison. Today we can talk about the other Battle of the Axe participant in Sherman. And they have, I would say, this qualifies as a bit of an off-the-board hire. And what I mean by that is, I think that if you are, and this is not a knock on people, but if you're a Texas high school football casual, if you were to see that they had hired Efren Ramos, the head coach at Lamesa, you'd say, what? 3A Lamesa? Like, what are you doing? This is a guy who, I love this hire, and I think this is one of those hires that has an opportunity to age really well, because if you look at his resume, yes, he's been the head coach at Lamesa for the past couple of years. But where he hangs his hat, in my opinion, his resume bullet point is that 2023 Anna team where he was a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, state championship defensive coordinator right down the road at Anna. I mean, Sherman to Anna is 20 minutes, so he's familiar with the area. He did a good job. His first year at Lamesa in 2024, he led them to their first district championship in 23 years.
Yeah.
Like, he's did a good job at Lamesa. And also, it doesn't hurt that he's got a son who's a really good quarterback, Daniel Ramos, who's just going to be a junior. So Sherman is a really intriguing football team next year because they got drawn into a really, I think, favorable situation in UIL realignment going Region 1. Yeah, they got to deal with Denton Ryan, but everybody's got to deal with Denton Ryan. But other than that, I think they can, like, there's a scenario Sherman's the runner-up in that district.
Yeah.
And in Region 1, I think they have a chance to maybe play. Like, if you told me today Sherman's playing Thanksgiving weekend, I wouldn't be like, you're an idiot. I'd be like, there's a good chance that happens. New stadium opening up this year, a lot to be excited about there in Grayson County, and I think this is a sneaky good hire by the Sherman athletic director here.
This always kind of, there's this category of hire. We just need like a name for it. This category of hires that, like, I think from the outside, if you judge it like everybody judges like NFL hires, you might be like, oh, what is that? But if you dig into it, you're like, oh wait,
it's
actually,
a hipster hire.
It's a real hipster hire. But I think Efren Ramos is a really inspired hire there from Sherman. Let's talk about two jobs that came open recently, both for the same reason. Let's start with Arlington Lamar. Okay. Arlington Lamar is still looking for a new head coach. Billy Skinner is leaving to take an AD role. He's going to be the athletic director at Grapevine Colleyville ISD. Congratulations to him.
First day on the job, that Grapevine baseball story went out.
No,
geez. Sure he was like,
yeah, welcome to Thunderdome.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he goes to become the athletic director at Grapevine Colleyville ISD. Congratulations to him. Late in the game, big school district there. Again, this feels like, at the very least, it'll be an interim hire.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to put into play here, being a 6A school, is when this coaching change had taken place, they were already like a week and a half into spring football.
Yeah.
So that adds to the complexity of it. I know the defensive coordinator, Zach Naharo, is currently serving as the interim head coach. I think there's a good chance they may just keep that interim tag on Naharo for the football season. And you say, well, that's not doing, is that really fair? I think it's a great thing for Naharo because he gets a 10-game audition to show the district what he can do if that's the direction they go in. And it's a win-win, in my opinion, because if it doesn't go well, then you post the job in November, and Lamar's going to have 300 people apply for the job if it gets posted. And if Naharo leads Lamar to a district championship and they go 11-2, you give him the job.
Yes.
Take the interim tag off and say, dude, great job. It's your job. Go win us some more football games. So I think it's a win-win for Arlington ISD if that's the direction they go. So we'll see. I imagine we may hear something this week, before the holiday. I think we might hear something before the school year ends, one way or the other.
Let's go west to Abilene, where, again, May 10th.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how not strange, but certainly unusual it is that a program like Abilene Cooper comes open on May 10th, but Aaron Rohn promoted to associate athletic director, I think it is.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. He's working for James Garfield, one of my favorite favorite people in Texas high school athletics. James Garfield, the AD there at Abilene ISD, and so Aaron Rohn kind of figured when Coach Cox retired that Rohn would probably be the choice to step into the AD role, assistant AD role, and that's the direction they went. Again, the lateness of the hire. I don't know if Cooper did spring ball or not, but we're not going out on a limb here. It's May 18th. My money's on an internal hire.
Yeah.
I don't think Garfield's a big fan of the interim tag. I think if they hire, it's going to be a permanent hire. So, and the MO in Abilene ISD the last outside hire was Mike Spradlin at Cooper, which was a long time ago. You know, Mike Spradlin's daughter won Survivor.
I'm sorry.
Google that. Mike Spradlin, former Abilene Cooper and Temple head coach, was.
I'm sorry. I just blacked out. What'd you say?
Mike Spradlin,
the former Temple coach.
Temple, Rockwall Heath, Abilene Cooper. His daughter won one season of Survivor. That's a fun fact. That's my Texas high school football fun fact.
Crazy.
Right there.
Thank you, CoverZero.
Yeah.
What?
Look at a double. CoverZero's getting their money's worth today. Let me tell you.
Jeez.
After the show, Google that. I'm telling you.
Okay.
That's the last external hire. Because you think about it, when Steve Warren retired at Abilene High, they promoted Del Van Cox. And when Del Van Cox went to the assistant AD, they promoted Mike Fullen. At Abilene Cooper, when Coach Spradlin left, they promoted Todd Mabus. Now Huntsville head coach Todd Mabus. When Coach Mabus left to go to Lockhart, they named Aaron Rohn the head coach. So this is a history of internal hires. So the money is on an internal hire there at Cooper.
Let's slide these two unfortunate stories in before we finish on more fortunate stories. Let's talk a little bit about
the unfortunate story hour.
Unfortunately, we got to do it. Let's talk about Klein. Klein is right now. They do have a head football coach I think technically in Nick Caduti.
Correct.
They have not posted the job.
No, he's still the head football coach.
He is, and I want to be very clear, he is on administrative leave right now from Klein ISD. That there is an investigation into an alleged relationship, inappropriate relationship with him and when he was at his time at Tomball. We don't know where this is going. Obviously, we'll keep track of it, and that's a big job from a football perspective. Nick Caduti has such a what's the word I'm looking for? Such a style that anyone coming in and taking over that job late in the situation would have a hard time replicating.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm a big Nick Caduti fan. Like I have been, we talked about Klein a lot last year, and I love how they play football. I love what they do stylistically. And I get it. Caduti's not everyone's cup of tea, so he's not a Texan. He's not from here. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But I think as a football coach, he's an excellent football coach. We'll see where the direction goes, where the investigation goes. All you can really say about that is you hope it just works out for the parties that are involved, and whatever happens. I think it'd be unwise of us to speculate any further than what's been publicly put out there. We'll see what direction Klein ISD goes, but I do agree if it goes to that direction where they have to make a change at the football coach, I think it's going to be really hard to replace Caduti because of the style and just
the scheme,
and then he's kind of the personality and the vibe that he brings. I think trying to replicate that would be a disservice. You have to kind of be yourself. But from a football standpoint, Klein's going to be a very interesting team. A lot of guys back. Their quarterback Carter Luttrell, who was hurt all last year, is back. Mike Brown, the young star athlete who was ineligible last year, is eligible, going to play. So there were some things to be excited about at Klein on the football field. But it's a tough district, and from a football standpoint, we'll kind of have to continue to monitor and see how things go here in the next couple of weeks.
Let's round out the unfortunate hour with the story of what's going on at Round Rock McNeil. So Round Rock McNeil had gone along a very normal coaching change situation, which was Scott Hermes left to go take over at Leander Glen. They went and hired Arlington Bowie assistant coach Jonathan Cruz to be their next head coach. This was back in March. This was a real kind of ho-hum.
Yeah,
just
I think Cruz have been on the job for about a month now.
One of 100 coaching changes that just happened. Then comes out, and I'm going to make sure I read this. This is from KERA News. Jonathan Cruz was arrested on a warrant connected to a 2024 child abuse investigation. He was taken into custody on May 4th by Williamson County authorities on a charge of injury to a child with intent to cause bodily harm. Round Rock ISD pretty quickly said, all right,
we're posting the
job.
Yeah.
That is different from the Klein situation, which remains under investigation. Round Rock ISD has taken the arrest as, okay, great, that's done.
Yeah.
We're going to go. So
we're
Round Rock
a different
McNeil,
direction. Yeah,
Round Rock McNeil will have their technically third head coach of the calendar year in May, I presume. And they'll
tough situation for those
very
kids.
Tough situation.
You have a new coach come in. Your coach leaves, so you're without a coach for a little while. Then you get a coach, and then he leaves after a month. And now you're without a coach again on May 18th. Not a great situation for them. I think in this case, this is one of the rare cases where Round Rock may try to look outside of McNeil to make a hire here. And maybe there's somebody in the district. Round Rock ISD has 5 or 6 high schools, so maybe they try to find somebody internal to Round Rock ISD to go over to McNeil and hopefully stabilize things.
Okay, shifting gears.
All
I like
right.
to do hard divides.
Stop.
Hard divide.
Yeah, hard stop.
Let's talk about Palestine Westwood. Palestine Westwood had been looking for a head coach
For quite some time.
It's getting a little long in the tooth. I know they were going through an AD search as well.
Yeah, and the AD they named was, they were in the state championship game in basketball, so they probably didn't even start the interview process till after spring break for AD.
Right.
They hire an AD, then the AD's got to hire a new football coach.
And they have gone and they have hired, I called this off the board on Texas Football Today.
I would agree with that, yeah.
They have gone and hired the now former defensive coordinator at Brazoswood, Randy Pippen.
Yes.
But to call him Brazoswood defensive coordinator Randy Pippen is probably not doing his resume justice, because there's another particular bullet point on there that I think is the headline grabber.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the Trinity Valley Cardinals national championship head coach Randy Pippen. Now he won that natty before I arrived in Athens, but
he won it back in 1994.
Yes, I was still in high school. But shout out to anytime Trinity Valley, we win titles at Trinity. That's what we do. And Coach Pippen led us to a title there in 1994. Very good. He's a defensive-oriented guy. He's defensive mind, primarily been in the college ranks. So I think he's a good compliment, because you got to imagine Kavian Bryant, their quarterback. Palestine Westwood's going to score some points this year. So where they need to improve is on the defensive side of the ball if they want to make some noise. And I think that's going to be the key for them in 2026 in competing in a Region 3 that is still very good, because defending state champ Yoka moved to Region 4, but Columbus still lives there. Edna moves over from Region 4 into Region 3. Lorena drops down from 4A. Franklin still exists. So Region 3 is full of landmines once again. So if Westwood's going to realize their potential, I think they're going to have to improve on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what Coach Pippen's going to be charged with.
He's got history in East Texas, and his history of winning.
That's
big.
right. That's right.
So we'll see. I do want to
Shout
make
out to the Trinity Valley Cardinals.
I do want to make sure that we mention this too. Palestine Westwood made a hire. It kind of flew under the radar, but Palestine High was looking for a head coach too.
Yeah.
James Reyes, our friend, took on an AD only role, and so they were looking for a head coach. And they go and pluck Ty Robinson from Crawford, who is on his third job in 3 years.
Yeah, so
He went from Woodville, where he led him to a title, went to Crawford, did a great job at Crawford.
They bounced back. They had a rough 2024 season. You're 4-8, and he led them to 10-2 a year ago. And now he goes. Robinson has ties to Palestine. He was an assistant coach at Palestine there before he got the Woodville job. So he's familiar with the lay of the land. Great fit. I think he's going to he's the East Texas guy, kind of, Central Texas, East Texas guy. Spent time, grew up in Bremont. I think he's going to relate well to the Palestine kids. Savvy hire. I think puts Crawford in a tough spot here with the late coaching change, but I think great move for Palestine and nab Ty Robinson.
Last one for me. I want to make sure we close the loop on one of the biggest jobs in the state in the offseason, which is Corpus Christi Miller. The program of record in Corpus Christi, at least
the legacy program.
The legacy program in Corpus Christi. And they have hired David McHugh to be the next head coach there. David McHugh coming from Bishop. He's a 40 under 40 guy. He is a guy who has been a name that we have been keeping an eye on for a while. And I know you spoke to him for TexasFootball.com about this, but this is a guy who is a rising star in the Texas high school football ranks, and it feels like Miller's like, we want to catch that wave.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job as the offensive coordinator at Ingleside when they were putting up huge numbers a couple years ago. Goes to Bishop, does a great job in year one. I think Bishop is primed to have a really good year this year. They brought a lot. They were really young last year. He's got familiar. His brother was the offensive coordinator at Miller before coming to the Metroplex. Now he's at Matt McHugh, who's now at SMU. Remember what I said last year at coaching school? It was the year of the McHugh.
You did say that,
and it's continuing apparently because
that's binding until coaching school is here. It's a full 12 months.
So
yes.
So
this counts.
David's going to do a great job at Miller. I think he's connected with that community. Miller brings a lot of guys back. They're dropping down to Class 4A from 5A.
It also, I will also say this, is that he's an offensive guy. He was the offensive coordinator at Ingleside, which is really where he made his name. I bounced around the college ranks too. But
he had a little time, I think, at Hardin Simmons or McMurray. Sorry, Coach McHugh.
But
can't get Hardin Simmons and McMurray.
He was the offensive coordinator at Ingleside when Ingleside was lighting fools up.
Yes.
And so I would say actually, I don't want to bog down in schematics. That's where we can get involved with our friends at CoverZeroAnalytics.com. But I will say that as far as wanting to be an aggressive, high-flying offense, the Justin Evans to David McHugh kind of pass over there, I think is going to be pretty
smooth transition,
yes,
I think.
Exactly.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So that kind of closes out. It's the last time we're going to talk about coaching changes on Texas.
Unless something really big happens in June.
Which, don't do it, coaches. Don't do it. We have a magazine to put to bed.
Do it.
But
hey, you're on our side.
Whose side are you on?
I like the chaos.
That's the WTF enter coming out right there.
It really is. Yeah, the chaos. Okay. I want to ask you about when you take a look overall at coaching changes. Of course, TexasFootball.com has all the coaching changes.
All of them.
What was your biggest surprise of the coaching change?
I'm going to go back to one of the earlier coaching changes in January. I think when Josh Gibson left Pleasant Grove, I was like, what the heck is going on? Then all the other stuff came. I mean, it was a wild ride there. So, yeah, that one I think I thought he was going to stay at Pleasant Grove until as long as he wanted. And it just didn't work out, and he's not coaching right now, but I think he's very happy with his work-life balance there, doing what he's doing. But I was shocked when Josh Gibson left Pleasant Grove.
I saw him this past weekend at an event, and first time I had seen him, we were just chatting him up and stuff like that. And he talked about missing coaching, missing kids, and stuff like that. But he also told me he is now in private enterprise, doing sales for a company. And I don't know if they're sponsors. I don't know if I want to
probably making some bank, bro.
But he told me, he was like, yeah. It turns out I'm pretty good at this. He was talking about his sales record. I'm like, yeah, that kind of tracks. Like, you feel like he's a trustworthy guy. He's a guy that I would like to listen and talk to. So anyway, we wish him all the best. Okay, biggest splash hire. Give me the splashiest hire of all.
I always consider a splash hire like when a big job opens up and they go and get a big coach from another school. Like when a big job opens up and they promote from within. It's not splashy.
Lee Munn at South Lake Carroll is a rock solid hire, and also
splash.
Defensive coordinator promoted from within.
I think when Atascocita hired Kyle Coates, you go right up the road to Coates did an unbelievable job at College Park. Atascocita is a big time program in the Houston area, ton of talent. Coates, state champion defensive coordinator at DeSoto, goes and builds College Park into a power. Splash.
Very splashy. I would say that. The only other one that I might throw out there would be what Hutto did. And that's a little bit more hipstery because you got to know, but they lose Eli Reinhardt to go off to the college ranks, and they go and they grab they're like, okay, well, we like scoring points.
Who else likes to cut the brakes?
Who else likes to cut the brakes? Casey Walraven. Yeah. That one kind of caught my eye.
Okay.
As well. Okay. Under the radar hire. Give me a hire that you're like, ooh, sneaky good hire.
Garrison hiring Kerry Thurwanger.
Yeah.
Now, you may know Kerry Thurwanger as the guy who coached Terry Bussey and won a state championship in 2024. Thurwanger was out for 1 year, and he's like, I got to get some more coaching in me. And he goes to Garrison. But Kerry Thurwanger is a lot more than just the guy who coached Terry Bussey. This is a guy who in 20 years has a record of 185 and 83. Dude wins.
Yeah.
He won at Timpson before Bussey. He won a lot at Lovelady during a long tenure there at Lovelady. Garrison is a strong East Texas program right there in that neck of the woods. I mean, Timpson and Garrison have had some wars in the past. Sneaky good hire that no one's talking about, Garrison nabbing Kerry Thurwanger.
All right, last one. There are still, how many jobs are open according to TexasFootball.com? There are 21 UIL 11-man jobs open. Give me a job that you're still keeping an eye on.
Abilene Cooper. We talked about Abilene Cooper. I think that's that one and Lamar are the two big ones that are still open that I'm still kind of. But Abilene Cooper, I think, just because I think they're going to be really good again this year, and just really interested to see if form holds with the Abilene ISD and making internal promotions.
TexasFootball.com is where you can find all of the coaching changes in the 2026 coaching carousel. And now here with a song is Vianney Moreno. Perfect. Thank you. This is great. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Trying to catch her napping.
Say, can you?
Oh, she's patriotic.
See by the dawn's early light?
She'll take my hat off. She'll take my hat off.
No, it's okay. She's going to stop. It's fine. We don't want to disgrace America on their 250th birthday
That's right.
with our rendition of the national anthem. All right, Matthew, one last thing to do on this to really close out the off season. And this is like the last eaten out of the fridge episode of Tep and Stepp. All right.
Scraping those leftovers.
We really are. We are going to make it work. Okay.
Sorry.
I want to
What?
What?
What was so funny?
I mean, we're always like that.
I laughed and my mic was not muted.
Can I tell you something? And I think you've experienced this before. Vianney has a phrase that if you make a joke and she laughs at it, she'll say, "You're funny today." And that's my only goal is every day I want Vianney to say, "You're funny today."
Yeah.
It's not every day. Most days I'm not.
It's not, but you have to gut punch me a couple times.
Yeah.
But you can't say am I funny today? No.
No, you can't.
It's gotta be you gotta get me. I'm like, you're funny today.
Okay.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about I want to talk about whether or not you're buying or selling a couple teams.
Okay.
And specifically, I want to take a look at teams. We talked about it in the Texas High School Football Fun Fact of the Week presented by CoverZero Analytics about teams that improved their win total over the course of a couple of years. I want to talk about teams that had a big change from win total from 2024 to 2025.
Okay.
And I want to know if you think that we have a new normal established, whether they were good or bad,
Okay.
or if this is a one-year thing and you expect them to go back to the way that they were before 2025.
Okay.
Good or bad.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
We'll start with teams that made a big leap in 2025, and whether or not you think that is the new normal or if it's a one-year blip or maybe somewhere in between.
All right.
We'll start with this. Mansfield Lake Ridge. Mansfield Lake Ridge went from 1-9 to 9-3 last year. What do you think about Kirk Thor's squad?
I think it'll be really good again this year. Really tough district though. I mean, you got Duncanville, Waxahachie, and North Crowley, but I do think Lake Ridge, at least for one more year, is going to be a playoff team and possibly a team that could play multiple rounds.
Let's move to 5A. Mission Veterans Memorial. Now, Mission Veterans Memorial had a tough 2024 with 2-9. Bounced back into, I would say, more of the norm under David Gilpin, which is a 10-2 mark last year. Which one are they closer to?
I think 2024 was the aberration.
Okay.
David Gilpin and Mission Vets has been a consistent winner down in the Valley. Their quarterback's back. And when David Gilpin's got a quarterback, they're going to be okay. So I think Mission Vets will be I'm buying more of 2025.
What about Lubbock Liberty? This is a program that
buying in. That's new school.
All the chips you got?
Yeah, they're going to be loaded. They're a 4A Division II, and they bring back 50 lettermen. And their JV was 10-0. They're going to be a top rank. In my opinion, I haven't not seen the rankings yet, but if in Matt Stepp's rankings, they're a top 5, top 10 team. Loaded.
Those are non-binding rankings. What about a team that played for a state championship a year ago? They went 5-5 in 2024, and then went to a state championship game. C.E. King. I almost said C.E. King. Sheldon C.E. King. Are they? Where are they in that?
I'm buying 2025.
Yeah.
They're going to be very, very talented, and
Well, they just had Dylan Mitchell run a sub 10.
Yeah, they're going to be in the mix again in 2025.
I made the point on Texas football today because I saw some tweets about the Dylan Mitchell 100. He ran like a 9.9. If you didn't know, he ran like a 9.92 or something like that.
Legal. I'm sorry,
Bro, I don't care. You're running under 10 seconds.
I run a 9.9220.
What about San Marcos? San Marcos has obviously been a bit of a wild ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were the most interesting team in Texas
Yeah.
high school football last year. I think they may revert more back to they're not
0-10. Yes.
But I think we may see some struggles. They graduated. That group of seniors was really, really good, and that group is gone. So I think they'll revert back to more 2024 form.
Second reference we've made to Stinnett, West Texas today. They went 7-4 and then went all the way to 14-1. They are dropping down to 2A Division II.
They graduated everybody, and their coach left. So that's a red flag for me. So I'm going to go selling 20. I'm going more 2024 than 2025.
I'm going to give you two more.
All right.
Chilton went from 3-7 to 10-2.
More of a buy. I lean more to 2025 than 2024 for Chilton.
All right. And then Gregory Portland. Gregory Portland went from 5-6 in 2024 all the way to 11-2. Where are they closer to?
I think they're closer to the 11-2.
Okay. All right.
I think they're more closer to that.
Now I want to go to the other side of it. The other side of it, where teams had let's say an unusual dip. The question is, to use a stock phrase, are you buying the dip? Are you gonna you can get more stock for your money here?
Carter Yates is about to Kool-Aid man through this door.
Buy the dip. Are you buying the dip on Marlin? Marlin went from 10-4 all the way down to 2-9 last year.
I'm gonna ride the fence here. I don't think they're gonna be 10-4, but I don't expect 2-9. I could see Marlin going like 8-4, 7-3, something in that neighborhood.
What about
first year head coach too?
What about PSJA? PSJA was a 9-win team back in 2024, dropped all the way down to 1-9.
Probably, I think they're going to struggle again this year, so probably more of the same for PSJA. Stanford went from a state championship game in going to triple overtime in a state championship game in 2024. They went 7-5, which a lot of teams would take, but obviously by their standards, not up to snuff. What are you thinking about the Bulldogs? Better than 7-5, but not quite state title contenders.
Galveston Ball graduated Jonah Williams. They would go from 9-3 to 2-8. Where do you see the Golden Tornadoes?
Love Amasha Brantley. The district is just brutal, though. You got LaPorte, Lufkin, Port Arthur Memorial. The Beaumont schools look really good. Maybe better than 2-8, but I don't think Galveston Ball is going to be a playoff team in 2026.
Corpus Christi Miller, we talked about them with a new coach in David McHugh. They were 11-3 back in 2024. Last year, reverted down to 4-7 with David McHugh at the helm. What are you thinking?
Much more dropping down to 4A. A lot of guys back. I expect Miller to be a Region 4 contender.
Three more for you. I want to talk about Toller. Toller was in a title game. It's 2 years ago.
Yeah. As a 2A though.
As a 2A. Now they're up in 3A. They went 4-7 last year. What do you think?
Better than 4-7, but still not a contender. I mean, I think they'll be better though. Winning record. I expect a winning record from Toller.
Speaking of teams that are no stranger to the state championship stage, the Tigers of Malakoff went to won the title in 2024, went to another title game. They won the title in 2024.
No, 23.
23. They lost the title in 2024. Then they reverted back to 8-4.
Super young last year. I expect Malakoff to be really good. They got the two Robinson brothers from Yoakum that transferred in. Malakoff's a contender in Region 2. They take more 23-24 from Malakoff.
Finally, let's talk.
Yeah,
I think somebody's calling me. Let's talk about Austin Westlake. The Chaparrals went from 14-2 and making it to a state championship game in 2024 down to 7-4, and what by their standards is pretty disastrous.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
This is a tough first round draw playing Vandergrift in the first round. More towards 20. I mean, I'm not betting against Westlake to have 2 bad years in a row.
I would say that's probably why.
Double-digit wins for Austin Westlake in 2026.
There's some buying.
Going out
and
on a real
selling.
limb there.
There's some buy and selling. Guess what? We made it through the off season here on Tep and Stepp.
Woohoo!
If you're listening to us on Tuesday, it's 100 days to kick off.
I did. I heard that. 100 days to kick off.
TexasFootball.com.
Yeah.
Got 100 days to kick off.
And if you're listening on Wednesday, it's 99 days. For a freeloader Wednesday, it's 99 days.
Let's go to V&A Moreno to find out what V&A Moreno wrote down. What'd you write down, V&A Moreno?
Hi, guys.
Hi, V&A.
Hello.
I wrote down a lot of things on my nifty DCTX Dave Campbell Texas Sports notebook. Texas high school football hibachi.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is actually Hibachi Grill.
Yep.
It's the CoverZero sponsored it, so it's a hibachi grill. We're gonna do an onion volcano after this.
Thank you, CoverZero.
Or
V&A.
flip the shrimp into your hat.
Yeah. What a visual.
V&A's inner WTF was coming out.
Yeah. Anytime you're roasting us, it does feel like you're trying to
it's like
bring back
pickles.
WTF.
It's like
The
Pickles on the
girls-
Bluetooth, just telling her to roast us.
Yeah, she's in my ear. She
Yeah.
manages to tap in.
That tracks.
Tep and Stepp are funny today. V&A sang the national anthem. We are eating out of the fridge,
Yeah.
and Carter Yates is about to Kool-Aid man through the door.
Yeah, whenever
Buy the dip.
we were buying the dip. Yeah. Anyway, that is going to do it for us. The next episode of Tep and Stepp will be on, we'll record it on Monday, June 22nd?
Yes.
Monday,
yeah.
June 22nd.
Sunday, June 21st.
Yeah, that's right.
State 7-on-7
It'll
pool
be-
reveal
Pool
show.
reveal show.
Oh, it'll be like your 7-on-7 primer, right?
That's right. The chips and salsa to the Texas
What?
high
It
school
is.
football season.
It is.
Yes.
It is not the botana platter. That's week
No.
one.
Not the
Week one's the botana
Yeah,
platter.
yeah.
But this is the chips and salsa.
Heck yeah.
For State 7-on-7, we will be doing Tep and Stepp on the 22nd. That'll be the day after the
Pool reveal show.
show. So make sure you hang around with us.
Lots of
Texas
Tep and
football.
Stepp in June.
A lot of Tep and Stepp. And then July, coaching school.
Oh,
And guess what, guys? We got some news coming up here that we're not at liberty to announce, but like
we're working on some stuff.
cool stuff coming along for coaching school.
Yeah.
What if we just did 5 hours a day?
No. Live?
We'll find out if V&A has the courage.
I don't know.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for being a Dave Campbell's Texas football subscriber. Thank you to V&A Moreno for putting up with our nonsense. Stepp, thanks for your courage.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next month for 7-on-7 on Tep and Stepp.
Goodbye.